This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 842. I am Brian Kilby. With me here this week, we have Donald Ferguson.
Hello.
Hello, Donald. We have Diecast.
Maybe.
Okay. Rob.
Hello.
Chris.
Hey, I'm not last this week.
Matt's last.
Greetings.
Wow, the disrespect.
I'm used to it.
Man. Interesting, fun week, I guess.
A lot of toys this week.
A lot of toys this week. I know that actually in Diecast and Dawn have like dueling what we got this week.
I want to overlay Duel of the Fates here, you know.
Like in pre-show, Dawn was like fighting mad that I let Diecast go before him, even though I did tell Dawn.
Well, it's just, I thought what I had was,
it's pretty radical, Dawn.
No,
Yeah.
it what you have done is a good get. What Diecast has is like a very unique, special thing, and
Yeah.
just this once, I'm going to take Diecast's side on this.
Yeah.
Just this once, though.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
We have rules against that otherwise.
So I'm going to change order in what Chris put in the notes because it's what everybody's talking about. Actually, they're talking about two different things, but the one that I care about
Number two, I assume.
is G1 with knees.
Yeah.
Which we have talked about. God, I remember actually.
D1 with knees and
Yeah.
shoulders and ankles.
I remember like talking about this on the show in like the 1990s.
Yeah.
That you could literally take a G1 toy and add knees to it. And that's, we've joked, that's what Generations is in some cases.
Micromasters.
And, all the way back, Deathy, classic Deathy, which probably most of our listening audience at this point doesn't even know who I'm talking about when I say that.
Good.
Deathy was a prolific and very notorious poster on Alt Toys Transformers in the late 90s and early 2000s. Anyway, like one of his, go-to things was just take the Victory toys and put ball joints in them. It's fine.
yeah, that's...
We're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer.
So what looks like, I guess, a retailer presentation solicitation deal.
Yeah.
And I am not, maybe Chris knows, but like I'm not completely sold that this is real. Shows Optimus Prime that is clearly the G1 design, the Diaclone toy.
Different designs, actually.
Different designs, or we have two different ones?
They
There
substantially
is
different.
the toy accurate with the yellow eyes and the original head and the trailer, and the cartoon accurate version without the trailer.
Who cares?
But it has a Matrix and an Energon X.
Yeah.
And
I think they both have a matrix, actually.
But
do they?
Oh yeah, it's under the text.
it's
I
fully
see.
Okay.
it's fully articulated.
Yeah.
They're
And-
calling it the missing link.
Yeah. I am not sold that this is real. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't.
I
Well-
desperately hope it is.
I
I
love
hope it
it.
is, but to be frank, if it's third party, I'll frickin' buy it anyway.
Okay, so a Megatron image similar to this came out that was not too bad, but it was still identifiably fake. No one, as far as I've heard, has found any way to debunk this as being false yet.
I don't think this is going to be like a thing going forward. Like there's going to be a line. I think this is like a 40th anniversary.
Yeah,
thing,
I
and they're
agree.
gonna do it with one toy
Possible.
because Optimus Prime already has shoulder joints
So
and
it would,
elbow joints
it-
and knees and ankles, and all they have to do is add a little more articulation to joints that already exist. You're not going to get a Hound with that's fully posable.
It
It's-
would-
You're not going to get a Starscream like this because they
No.
can't incorporate all the robot parts.
yeah, it would be hard to
Yeah.
fake this, but not impossible. Like,
Correct.
Looking at this, like, you know how you go for like mental shortcuts, like what could be like you're just trying to poke holes in something, and like that missing link logo looks weird. It almost looks like that was done with like Dolly 2 or something, because it doesn't look like it was made by a person, but doesn't mean that it's fake. But like the logo looks really rough.
I mean, bear in mind too, this is kind of low resolution image, and
exactly.
the actual for this is not for publication. They send these out to the retailers so the retailers can decide whether or not they want to order this product for whatever portion of the upcoming cycle this gets released. This is not a high quality press release material. The real logo could look a lot less janky at
True.
full resolution and cleaned up more too, probably.
True, but I do want to point out there's been a lot of leaking over the years, and there's been a lot of faking over the years. And now that we have AI generated imagery, it's just going to become like a common thing for people to fake stuff that looks really real. And I'm not saying this is fake, but it could be. This could be one of the first instances of that.
Really hope this is real.
I love it. I love
You
it.
know what scares me about this? If it's real, the price.
Yeah.
They had to redo part of the mold, and plus now it comes with the trailer. How much was Prime and Walmart?
Only
without
one
the
of them
trailer?
Only one of them comes with the trailer.
Yeah, like
Still,
but
still scares
why,
me.
Why are they redoing the mold? Why aren't they just redoing, like making it from scratch?
Yeah, it would be a completely new mold.
Yeah.
See,
There's no reason.
the thing that the thing I feel like supports this. Remember what we talked about a few weeks ago, where Hasbro and Takara are making available to licensors detailed 3D model files of the original G1
Yes.
molds. They can take that very asset and use that as a starting point to make this high articulation but very accurate to Diaclone original mold new Optimus Prime toy.
That's true.
You know, they got a very easy starting point there, and if they put the work into making those 3D molds or producing them for availability to licensors, obviously they're going to take advantage of it for themselves at least once.
And to be honest, the fact that there are two versions of this, I think, supports the fact that it's probably real as well, because
Otherwise, it'd all just be in one thing. Yeah.
John,
not just that, but also I want to just point out that if we're only going to get one version in the US, which I think is likely, it will probably be the one without the trailer that is less money.
I mean, how if we get it in the U.S., I think is moot really in this new world where we get stuff from wherever. But in the chat in the Discord, tfradio.net/Discord, John, he thinks it's fake. So,
Yeah. Also, well, just to point out what John says about they couldn't stop at just one. I just held. I recognized the katakana for series, and also I held my phone up to it, and yeah, it says new series missing link start. So it is. If it's real, it's intended to be a series. If it's a fake, they're trying to make it out as though it's a series too.
yeah.
Yeah, people absolutely do fake solicitations like this.
Oh yeah.
Usually they can be identified pretty quick as being fakes. Like the people that do this, even when they're good at making the fakes, they still leave clear signs. And so far as I'm aware, no one has pointed to anything cementing this as being a fake
That's
yet.
why you do it with AI, and you don't have
Oh,
Photoshop.
AI is far from infallible at this point. You'd be able to tell.
It looks fake. That's why I think it was AI.
I think what we're looking at is the visual equivalent of when those high quality KOs started coming out in the early 2000s, like when Big Bad got all those supposedly box Cyclonuses, and they were those high quality KOs.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell, but you had to get the two boxes side by side and start seeing the grid difference. I think what we're seeing is the visual version of this. If this is fake, it's the start of people trying to make this stuff. So grain of salt, even more now until something official comes out.
We'll know next week. The publication date is August 8th.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it's fake. It looks fake. And that Megatron is
I
fake.
hope it's real.
I'm sure that Megatron's fake.
The Megatron absolutely is fake.
But I did point out with the Megatron, just because they can't sell it in the US is not a reason that Takara would kill it. Takara absolutely would really make something.
Yeah, Takara very well still might, but the picture that's floating around right now purporting that is fake.
Sure.
Right now.
But yeah, this is exactly what I think. I think it's exactly what I want. Like in hand, I might say this is disappointing, but there's something that really scratches an itch in my brain.
I'm guessing to the full toy accurate with trailer one's probably gonna hit about 15,000 yen.
I'll pay it.
Yeah, I'd pay it.
I'd be pretty tempted, I have to admit.
Okay, as far as what we're seeing here, just wondering, could Hasbro use the Earthrise or any one of their current trailers with this and it work? Like, so they've already got the mold for the trailer in the US, because Rob was saying we might only get just the robot by itself, but if the mold for the current trailer would fit this toy, there's no production cost, there's no tooling.
Trailer's
cost there.
too small.
Yeah, it really is compared to the original trailer.
If it's,
Right, yeah, it is.
if
But I
this
wasn't sure
is-
what the.
If this is the G1 toy in size and
They-
everything, yeah, it's too small.
Yeah,
They
that's
would
just
also
my.
have to. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, I'm just saying that the getting the trailerless version is just my guess because when they had to reissue the original toy, they couldn't get it at a price point that could include the trailer. So if that is still the case, I have a feeling they probably want one that was a little bit like more purchasable if it ends up at like US retail.
And just
which,
because
given that this is this reads to me, if anything, as a 40th anniversary product, I would think they would want to.
I mean, it's probably the size of the G1 toy. Like that only makes sense, but it doesn't have to be.
That's true. It doesn't have to be, but I this is going to sound stupid. I feel like it defeats the purpose if
I
it's not
agree.
as close to the
Yeah, this-
I agree.
as possible.
This seems like they're trying to get you the toy that you remember having, as opposed to
Yeah.
what
Then
you actually
then
have.
it's the size of Fortress Maximus because I remember it being gigantic.
That would
Yeah, okay.
that would be awesome
I'd buy it.
with the trailer still.
Yes, with the trailer.
Okay, so the other thing everybody's talking about, and I didn't understand why until I read Chris's note. So apparently at SDCC during one of the QAs, the topic of War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron came up, and how those games could be used as re-release with the Gamer Edition figure series and studio series. And apparently Activision lost the data, like the source code for the games.
Yeah, that's what Evan Brooks said during a Q&A session based on his understanding of the situation.
They had lost the hard drives.
Which would have the source
Because
code.
what Hasbro had to do for the War for Cybertron models that they needed was they actually had to figure out how to rip those assets from a retail
Oh.
published copy of the game.
Okay, so okay, I guess what my understanding, because everybody's talking about like why is the game not out? I just saw a lot of people like complaining about this.
Someone had asked if it was possible to release the games.
Okay, so what Evan is saying, the models, the hard drive of the models, not the source code, were lost.
He was talking about just like Activision could not provide them with game files, and I believe he also used the word source code with that,
Oh,
suggesting that the games themselves are just lost somewhere in Activision.
so they took a retail copy of the game and somehow extracted the model.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all that data's in there.
Yeah,
They just had to play through the game and pause it.
that's what I,
Pretty much.
All that information is there in the file system on the disk. They had to spend, as Evan described it, a long weekend figuring out how to actually extract those assets off of a finished published game so they could use those in designing the new Gamer Edition toys.
interesting.
But
where
then
it spins out a little bit here is that some of the gaming and tech websites picked up on this whole thing and started running stories based on it about how Activision lost hard drives with game source code on them. Of course, Activision's people heard about this, and someone from there tweeted out in, not the best of spirits that, no, nothing was lost. We know where all of our game data is. And that was very quickly followed up with Hasbro sending out a press release statement that it had been a mistake to say that Activision lost the hard drives and they apologized. However, no one really seems convinced by Activision's claims of knowing where everything precisely is.
well,
And
Hasbro
I
was a
agree
very,
with that.
Yeah, Hasbro was a very generic, like, hey, we apologize and we look forward to working with Activision
Yeah.
in the future, which is
Yes,
like,
that's a very corporate apology.
yeah,
it
it's
was-
the
it was
very
extremely
right thing
appeasement.
to do. Yeah. Because obviously this was all falling back on what was relayed to Hasbro. So it's probably
Yeah.
a little bit of truth to the original story.
I mean, at the least, there is truth in that Activision, when requested, did not produce the original game assets that the design team asked for so they could make the toys based on them. Now, whether, someone at Activision said as a way of excuse, yeah, we don't know where those files are, to whatever extent, and it just kind of, rolled downhill from there. But there is some level of truth to that. Activision could not or did not produce the game files when requested.
I mean, it could be any number of things. Like it could be a misunderstanding. Like we don't have access to that right now. Could be misconstrued as we don't know where it is.
Well, and the other thing too is that Activision's tweeted response, sure, they probably have not actually literally physically lost the hard drives. All those hard drives with all that source code and everything are probably in a warehouse someplace. And they know all of that stuff is there, but actually getting someone to go and find the correct hard drive with the correct
they don't
file.
have access to it right now.
So if
they don't have access or the interest to make the access.
So, I mean, my company has for digital assets has a whole access management system in place. I can't imagine a software company doesn't have something similar. So I would imagine that if they don't have it readily available, they don't have it.
I mean, there's also the matter of, in the shuffle of the High Moon assets going to Activision
mergers,
the stuff got cataloged and put somewhere, and just the record of where that is not there for them right now.
Yeah. At some point in the past, Bungie, who make Destiny, severed ties with Activision. High Moon still works with them on Destiny, so they may not be communicating right now.
Probably not.
So, yeah. I didn't even know Activision had responded. Man, they should have said something about labor practices instead. You never heard from them again.
But yeah, it's been a little interesting event since the end of SDCC with this whole Activision nonsense.
I mean, and one of the most interesting things too about it is I believe in one of the articles, don't quote me, that Hasbro said that they would love for these games to be available on
It would make them money.
Game
Of course
Pass.
they would.
Because hey, maybe the kids will play the games and then want to go buy the toys. So
Yeah.
it's...
Well, and that's the context that this came up in anyway. The Gamer Edition toys being out is a good way. It's a good time to try to get these games back out as tie-in so that one supports the other.
Yeah.
Whether the Gamer Edition toys drive people to play the games, or the games being on a digital service leads people to be oh, hey, there's toys of this, I want to buy one. It makes sense for the cross-brand synergy nonsense.
And I gotta say, just talking about all this stuff makes me want to go back and play the games again.
War and Fall are both very well liked. They were really good games, and I'd love to see them available.
I seem to remember since COVID, people actually started up private servers for multiplayer for the PC versions.
They were starting to, but I believe they got C&D'd by Activision.
Oh.
Well, if Hasbro made these toys originally back when the game was the current thing, couldn't they have already had these files?
So the design processes would have been a little bit different, and the toys that were released then would have been based at least somewhat on concept art from when Brian is holding up now his little handheld with is it War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron you're playing on that?
This is Fall.
Fall of Cybertron, yeah.
Yeah, if you owned it on Steam previously, I believe you still have access to it, but they're not actively selling it at the moment.
Anyway, so the original 2010 toys would have been partly at least developed based on concept art from the making of War for Cybertron. For the Studio Series 1, they wanted to make them as fully accurate to the game models as possible, and to do that they needed the actual studio finished 3D models, which it would have been easier for them if that could have just been provided directly from the source files used to compile the games, but that's how we got to this point, and they had to just rip it off of a disc. Either way, they got to the point that they needed to make these toys, and just the circumstances around it kind of led to this whole little mini scandal
So
over.
I just want to point
last
out,
few days.
I have my Asus ROG Ally in my hand playing Fall Cybertron, and
nice.
I have my hand at the top of it where the fan blows the heat out, and it's burning my fingers.
Wow.
So
I'm not surprised.
No, I mean that tracks, but wow.
Yeah. Also, while we're at it, Spencer on our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord points out that you can still buy a download key, Steam key for the game for Fall of Cybertron specifically on Amazon, tfradio.net/Amazon.
People should go do that.
yeah, you
Yes.
should do that. That's funny. Okay,
And-
cool.
and that's one of the rare instances where I think the sequel game was better than the original.
I feel like a lot of people kind of had that take on it because it makes sense too. Like they had a pretty good system going with War for Cybertron, but they
You
really
could
like
play as Bruticus. It
yeah
was
they
amazing.
they dialed in and polished what they had done for War for Cybertron with Fall of Cybertron. It just kind of hit the notes a little bit stronger.
Yeah, Fall of Cybertron
And yes,
wasn't.
you could play as Bruticus.
You know,
Yeah, and it wasn't as hard, like frustrating. Like you could get through Fall of Cybertron much easier.
game sequels are usually better. Movie sequels are usually not.
Generally, so first sequels to video games are usually better. Second sequels often are worse because by that point they decide to farm out the work to another studio.
Cool. Okay. Sweet. So that's the two topics anybody cared about. So let's jump to what I'm kidding. So pre-production G1 Trypticon photo. It says from original packaging.
Yeah, so it's the photo that appears on the packaging before it got retouched to make the colors accurate.
Okay.
So they used an early sample of Trypticon, essentially a near final colors test shot. They took the pictures of that for the start, mid, and end steps of the transformation. And then when they were developing the photos, they adjusted some of the colors to be what the final toy was going to be. But this is exactly like the positioning and the shot you would see on the original toy package in the actual plastic colors it was shot in. It's an original photo asset.
Oh
That's
man,
interesting.
Oh,
I kind
wow.
of love that.
It's
Yeah.
pretty.
That I could take that as a G2 Trypticon.
Yeah, I mean,
I really
like
could.
I like the pinker tone on this, honestly. In the Facebook post, I think it kind of compares this to being like more in line with how like the movie stuff would have been colored, whereas Trypticon as it was released was more just like basic Decepticon colors, like consistent with like the Insecticons.
I like
Which-
I like how it gives Full Tilt a secondary color instead
Yes,
of being one
yes.
solid block.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
I
I
mean-
really like how this looked, and it's a really interesting like piece of history to find out of producing original toy packaging.
I'll be honest, if they reran Trypticon in those colors and amp up the G2 a little bit, I would be tempted to get it again.
So what they should do is have Trypticon, but in G1 Grimlock colors. Okay.
No.
Shattered
that
glass,
would be
shattered
boring.
glass Trypticon.
Yes.
Also, I'll go ahead and mention this. Jared in our Discord, tfradio.net/Discord, is also throwing out reference to Japan only crossover of Transformers in Metarot S, which is their Metabots like phone app game, which I was aware of but wasn't including in the show notes because it's a kind of niche Japan only phone app thing. But they've put Optimus Prime and then regular Beast Wars Optimus Primal and Megatron in a Metabots game, and they function like any Metabots characters.
Okay. Cool.
No toy tie-in though. That's another reason I didn't mention it because it's just app and no merchandising.
Aw.
So Flame
Thank
Toys.
you, Jared.
Yeah, thank you, Jared. Flame Toys has I guess prototypes, test shots or whatever of Starscream, Beast Wars Megatron, and Bludgeon in their Furai
So
series.
Starscream looks like basically a final sample. And that's the Kuro Karakuri, the really expensive figure. Bludgeon and Megatron are model kits, and these do seem to be like, starter prototype versions. Apparently, there was also a Bonsaitron in this display, but it's not in the pictures that Flame Toys tweeted out.
Interesting.
Yeah. Bludgeon's a little bit stylized for my taste. Megatron's interesting looking. Like it probably a good companion piece to the Optimus Primal they did, which was a little bit stylized too. I would like to see what the Bonsaitron looks like though. Like if that's reasonably like G1 accurate style, but not super stylized like some of their stuff is, it could be a good option for people who like didn't want or didn't get the Super 7 version, but want like a classic size compatible and articulated representation of Bonsaitron.
Yeah.
Bludgeon, unfortunately, I don't think works for that purpose.
I rarely ever. I have no interest in these. I can't. I'm sorry, but I just don't.
Fair.
New photos of Desaurus.
Gorgeous.
It's pretty.
It looks
Yeah,
good.
and the first look at the packaging, I think.
This kind of bothers me that we didn't get this through a HasLab update.
We've had very few HasLab updates on Deathsaurus.
Yeah, they're really slacking on that. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, I thought the last one was good where they had the sample, they did the transformation.
Yeah, but it was like the only one we've ever got.
Are the
Right.
chest wings? Is that like chromed or is
Yeah,
that?
they're chromed.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Well, it makes it match Star Saber. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
that was kind of the point.
Ooh. So
Hopefully they've got better packing those.
I think Star Saber was foil stamped.
Maybe.
So in demand. Oh, this is from In Demand Toys. Okay. Well, fall. We said.
That's what Hasbro Pulse website says. Fall. Now that's I imagine probably late fall, early winter.
Yeah, probably.
That would put it just around the time we all started getting Star Sabers, which was I think around November.
I think so. Yeah.
Which honestly, I'm surprised it's only a year. I thought early 2024.
Yeah, it does seem like a fast turnaround. I guess they had a lot of the preliminary work done before the HasLab launched.
I think they did.
So I mean, they probably put 6 months of work into it before the HasLab started. So all that was left then was going and doing the physical work.
Especially once they knew they were doing Star Saber, they knew what the next project was going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a photo of Earthspark Starscream. I don't know that I have ever even seen the Cyberverse Starscream that this is a rerun of.
You
Yeah.
probably have. I own
This
one.
looks better than I thought it would.
It's not a bad toy, actually. It does not have like a typical Starscream transformation. The vehicle mode design is interesting. It's like a Cybertronian it's more of a Cybertronian form than like an Earth jet mode. Unfortunately, it loses the best part of the Cyberverse Deluxe Starscream, which is the launching missiles blast effect piece.
Ah. I'm sure it's still at Walmart then, right? Being a Cyberverse Deluxe.
I mean, I got one at Walmart last summer for $11.
Oh.
And the Slipstream was at Ollie's in droves.
Well, that wasn't a deluxe, though. That would have been like an activator. Or,
Oh yeah, well the Warrior
class or
class, I
something.
think.
Warrior class, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Unfortunately, though, while this is a good toy on its own merits, it's not really particularly accurate at all to Starscream's appearance in Earthspark, much like is the case for Shockwave, which was also a rerun Cyberverse Deluxe.
I hate that toy though, for sure.
I'm just saying, like, Steve Bloom's Starscream deserves better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching the new batch of episodes of Earthspark. It's still holding up quite well.
I need to catch up.
And like I said, Steve Bloom is Starscream again, and I can't ever possibly complain about that because he does probably my favorite Starscream that has ever screamed a star.
Yeah. So we have more Jurassic Park collaborative part 2 photos. I guess in-hand photos.
Yeah.
My opinion hasn't changed. It's
Yeah, I mean, it looks all right.
It's okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's sadly not especially bigger than the Dennis Nedry robot, which kind of makes its price point feel a little bit worse because these seem to be just like basically two deluxe sized toys going for a not small premium.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
There's a better than fair shot that I don't pick this up.
No, you'll pick it up on clearance
Yeah, on clearance.
or on sale.
Yeah, I might.
Either
Or
way.
out of boredom.
Yeah.
No, there's no shortage of stuff coming out. Like,
There's no shortage of boredom either.
this is true.
If this goes on clearance, I I wouldn't mind it. Just something about the Delavcon just makes me think of like a just random like Beast Wars Deluxe, and that just that kind of appeals to me. So
It has some like design similarities with Beast Wars Iguanas. So you're not entirely wrong in your assessment.
okay.
So, Trashmaster is out in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Let me see
Yeah.
if I can remember who that is.
the Voyager Junkion.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes, and you can do a lot of things with Trashmaster. There's of course the Trashosaurus that Mark suggested the formation of on Instagram a little while back. There's also a very solid trash monster you can make using just one scrap hook and crash bar with it. I couldn't find the post again, but I saw a picture of making a kind of monster form out of it with just Trashmaster and no additional Junkions. And there's also, if you got a couple of scrap hooks, a crash bar, and some old like Combiner Wars hands, you can make a pretty beefy looking like robot mode combiner out of it too. What I'm saying is the people in Hong Kong who have this in hand already are having a lot of fun with it, and it just makes me want it a lot more.
Yeah. I kind of like the Earthrise Optimus Prime with the trash cannon it's got here. That's
Yes, that's a thing too. Yeah,
So-
this looks like a really fun toy. The Junkions overall have been a really strong offering from Legacy, and like I'm glad to see from the in-hand pictures that Trashmaster seems to be living up to that.
I wish I had more time to invest into like the play pattern.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need so many trash masters.
So many of my toys are just sitting behind me, still in the box.
right.
It makes me sad.
I
Let's,
know this feeling.
Yeah. Legacy Dreadwing is also out in Hong Kong.
Yep, and it sure is Skyquake in blue.
Yeah.
Which is, accurate to how it was in the show, so that's fine.
My Skyquake is still in the box.
That's exactly how I felt about Dreadwing when he was introduced in the cartoon. Wow, that sure is just blue Skyquake.
Yeah. I said, hey, I've got a leader class toy in the box. Which one is this? I need to go look and see what that is. Oh, it's Skyquake. And I just set it back down.
I will pick up Dreadwing if it drops in price a little bit, in the coming months. Because I never had Dreadwing in the original Prime toy line. So I don't mind like double dipping on the mold for that and the hopeful Euro G1 Skyquake version that will I so hope comes
I
out
need
in
that
the
so
not
bad.
too distant future.
Okay, Pulse UK is fulfilling more Amazon capsule toys and giving us photos, Nacelle, Cascade versus Javelin, and Nova Prime. I saw that McFeely got the Nova Prime. And
Nice.
it's like a new collector-oriented packaging that you can reclose, reseal.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah. It kind of looks like very much like a Generation Selects box with that's printed on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
I'll take that.
Yeah, I
I
like
like
that.
that.
I like that. It still doesn't do a lot for me, but I'll get it. It's pretty.
I'll probably get one of these eventually. I do kind of like it.
And Nacelle is still very pretty, but like it's still on the wrong mold for my needs. The 2-pack is interesting though. Like at least the one toy based on Bumblebee movie RC looks really good in practice. The other one is also just, Siege Chromia, but it doesn't look too bad. Like, I don't have any doubt that 2-pack is going to drop in price, probably like as we get around the Black Friday.
Yeah.
And I might pick it up then. Like, I really wish I could get the motorcycle one just by itself, though. Because, like, that's the one that's really interesting looking to me. The other one's just kind of comes along for the ride, I guess. Nova Prime I do have on pre-order through Pulse, I think. So I do want to get that. I'm not waiting on clearance for that one.
I'll wait on clearance.
I do kind of hope that there will be like an upgrade kit for larger, more impressive wings, but in the meantime, it'll certainly do as it is.
And more photos of Shattered Glass Sideswipe.
Mm-hmm. I think it looks really good. I want one. I want the Sideswipe. I don't want the Rodimus, which is a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty glorious.
And we're very likely to get that as Armada Wheeljack next year sometime.
I love Armada Wheeljack, sort of. I love the idea of the toy more than the toy.
Yeah. Like, this is pretty much, this is pretty much what I want to happen to that, to that idea, to that toy. So I'm perfectly happy with this if it comes out as Wheeljack.
Yeah. Okay. It's that time. We're going to jump to what we got this week because we're done with the news. And Diecast is going to go first, then Don.
All right. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I have so many things. God, because there he is. He blended in. We finally have the Turtler Unicron. And it is beautiful.
Nice.
It was a Grimlock custom, and he even did because obviously he's the center bot of the Seacons. He even did the chest piece real nice in the colors of Unicron. So if I want to color the rest of the Seacons, I could make a whole Unicron out of Seacon, but he is just so nice and so beautiful that I think it translated really well.
It did.
Especially with the the red here mimicking the abs. I mean, there's just a lot of nice picks out of this. The green eyes.
For people who don't remember, what is this?
This was I almost don't remember myself, but this was that Unicron was going to get funded.
Yeah,
I believe.
So we had a bet, and I made it a really low bar. I think it was a number that I had to hit. And I said it's not going to hit some arbitrarily low number. And back then, this was before it funded, so I mean, it wasn't set in stone.
And for a while, it looked like you were going to win that bet.
Yeah.
So,
and it goes back to the idea that we were going to get the Seacons before we got Unicron.
Yeah.
Yes, the Seacons before Unicron thing preceded the HasLab.
Yeah.
The whole joke there was that we would get updated Seacons before Hasbro would ever do another Unicron again. So all of these things came true.
Not only did we get Seacons before Unicron, we got 2 sets of Seacons
We
before
sure
Unicron.
did.
This is true.
Well, we knew Unicron was coming, so it was.
And we got 2 sets of Seacons first.
But yeah,
that is a really nice looking figure.
Yeah,
it's
super
snazzy.
happy. I don't have many customs. I did a Rodimus custom from Prime Wheeljack, which is the only custom I've ever done myself. And then I have a couple Grimlock customs.
And he always does just absolutely amazing work.
Yeah. And I make it a point to always go to his table when I'm at a TFCon if he's there, and try and get, at least one. So
Which you're gonna be hard pressed getting anyone that you're like specifically after, because they're popular, but just to try to get there to see what he has.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So you got pictures of that also on your Twitter at Diecast too, right? For people who want
Yes.
to go and get a better look at it.
Yep. And then next up, which kind of ties into one of my other things, I got G2 Grimlock.
What do you think?
Oh, that looks nice.
He is pretty.
He is gorgeous.
Yeah. I love the silver head. I love the stripes on the leg. I like everything about it. I didn't transform him.
You don't need to.
But I mean, he's just so much of the teal would be hidden, even the purple, that I feel like he has to stay in robot mode.
Yes.
To get the good G2 glory of him.
Yeah.
So
I definitely feel that, but also I'm always fond of Transformers that manage to have different color profiles in their different modes.
Oh yeah.
That's something that really always appeals to me. So, just that was a well thought out deco back in like 1993, and I'm glad to see it on a toy finally.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I got it too, and I'm just gonna get my thoughts out here. It recharges all of my batteries. Like anything where I'm like, man, this Transformers aren't for me, or woe is me, there's too many things, blah blah blah. This toy is freaking awesome. I love
that
it.
whole G2 line has done that for me.
It's amazing.
Yes, the whole Toxitron collection, but especially Grimlock.
Well, I mean, bananas are well known for their energy giving properties.
Yeah.
And I personally feel like Walmart's going to do another G2 line, and we're going to get the next two Stunnicons. And then instead of getting a leader, we're going to get the Commander Motormaster.
Instead of 2 liters, Commander.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So we'll get
from
a
Capital.
deluxe wave, maybe a Voyager, and the Commander. And the next thing up, this I'm super happy about. A sealed on card
Oh.
G2 GoBots Transformers Soundwave.
Oh, nice.
And it's the same colors as Grimlock.
Yes, it is.
And it's got GoBots on it, and it's got Transformers on the hood. It's almost like the missing link between GoBots and Transformers, and of course it's G2, so it's lovely.
So we were talking about this in text. That never occurred to me that the GoBots line was anything more than just a name reuse of GoBots when Hasbro got Gloob. But like the size is there, the complexity is about the same. I could see it being like a spiritual, GoBot sort of.
I kind of think that's just a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is just a trademark grab.
Yeah.
Even so, I love it because it shows that unification.
Where did you get it? Did you find it at a convention or something? Did you order it online?
I ordered it on eBay.
So why specifically Soundwave?
I specifically wanted it because of the coloring and the fact that it said GoBot on it, and also Transformers.
Are you going to get the rest of them?
No.
Oh, well.
No, this is the only one I need.
My goal is to have all the GoBots. I only have a couple.
This is the only one you need.
Okay, so now, Brian, in that, are you going to include like all the Spy Changer variants and everything, or
No.
just the G2 GoBots?
G2 GoBots. I do want all the Spy Changer variants. I am kicking myself for missing like something on Mandarake that was like all the Spy Changers. But like what I won't have are like the prototype GoBots that like Benyi has. I think Benyi got like all the prototypes, and it's like unless I can luck out and get them,
right?
Because or test shots or whatever. Because it's like in the 4 figures for like the whole set.
Yeah,
I'd love to get some test shots of anything. Frankly, I have one. And
I got
okay,
0.
yeah, I have one of a Gundam figure that was done in any like kind of pink plastic that was laying around. So
Yeah, I do love your Bubblegum Gundam.
yeah, I need to find that and put it on display somewhere.
Yeah, and other than that, I got another Word on 2-pack.
Why?
I'm
Did you hope
hoping
to get a
that
good one?
Hoping for better parts fit.
I'm hoping the QC's better. I
bet
haven't
it's
had
not.
time to
I
check
bet
it.
It's not.
But
Mine is exactly like yours.
One of our Discord members mentioned that they got their order for the Wardon 2-pack delivered, and the arm was already rattling around the box when they unpacked it.
that doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I got a couple other things, but I got everything Don got, and I'm gonna go over that now. No, Don,
Go ahead,
Go
Don.
ahead.
Your turn.
Okay. Start off with just a quick off-topic things. Where did he go? Crap.
You can just tell us, Don. It's podcast.
Okay.
Don
Well,
loves it.
here it is.
Nobody
Here it is.
actually can see what you're talking about.
They can't.
No, it's a podcast. It's audio.
Well, we have. Okay. Anyway, I picked up a new graphic novel, a Danny Phantom graphic novel. Looking forward to reading that.
That sure is a ham sandwich, Don.
Yeah, it is. Picked up from Target today, Masterverse New Adventures Skeletor.
all right, Rob, go ahead. Or Chris, go ahead.
No, I think that looks pretty rad, Don. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'll
be honest,
I like Campbell Lane as Skeletor.
Yeah, it's like I never liked this Skeletor up until now, but this actually looks like a threatening Skeletor, not the way he was in the show. So I'm glad I picked him up. Also picked up Batman as a Sinestro Corps member when he temporarily got the yellow ring.
Okay.
For like 2 seconds.
Yeah, but it's a nice figure. Had to return the figure to Amazon because it came broke. And then I found it at Target on clearance. So I wound up having some credit at Amazon. So I got the Breaker Ram Cycle for about $30. So I went ahead and picked that up because I wasn't collecting classified at the time. Moving on to on-topic stuff. I got him a few weeks ago and I just forgot to bring him down. A spoiler for Earthspark. Jawbreaker.
Cool.
Very
That's a
nice
neat
little
looking toy.
figure. Like all the Warrior class toys, he definitely could use some more paint because his weapon they picked out in silver. The other side has no paint.
Oops.
So they could have at least painted the other side to match would have been nice. But it's a nice little figure. It's a Warrior class figure. No real surprises, but he's a good figure. So I'm definitely glad I picked him up. Part of what I got coming in, I decided to go ahead and get the VNR Optimus Prime. I wasn't going to get him, but I really like this mold.
Mold's
And the
great.
more I looked at that paint, he just looks really great. I mean, I still
That
love.
actually does look pretty good when you hold it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still love Christmas Prime, and I will buy this when it's inevitably G2 Hero Optimus. But
It won't be.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish
I'm
it
that's
would
not,
be.
I'm
but
hoping.
That's not inevitable, Don.
Well, I think it is.
It's fairly inevitable, but I would buy it.
Yeah. I too got in my 2 Studio Series Grimlocks. I bought 2, of course. The only nitpick I have is so minor. He has the wrong symbol.
Yeah, that is a problem.
I am a little perturbed at that. I might need to check out Toy Hacks and get some G2 symbols and try to replace that because that does bug me. It really does.
One minor step away from perfection.
Just like Combiner Wars G2 Bruticus.
Yep.
Yeah. So other than that, I love him. I found a very good deal. It's a good deal to me, and I'm anonymously it on the backside. But I picked up a second Shattered Glass Jetfire because
Don,
he looks so beautiful in the box, and I doubt they're getting a reissue, or they would have done it with when Jetfire was reissued a couple of months ago. So I decided to get a second one. That way, I've got 2 because I love the way this figure and I love the way it looks.
Don, just a reminder though, G2 Grimlock had a G1 Autobot symbol on it.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I
'cause
forgot.
he-
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so all of the reused G1 molds had a G1 faction logo on them, usually as a sticker,
And
but they also had a
G2
pantographed G2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's extremely nitpicky. I know that, but again, I love that Grimlock. Picked up the Death on the Shuttle first pack from Target. My Target had them, and they were past free
cool.
date.
Nice.
Yes, so I went ahead and picked one up. Being right here in hand was more like instead of waiting for it to come through Pulse or something. And so they'll go with Offline Prime or whatever we were calling him as a subgroup. Also, while I was at Target, I got Toe Line.
How many-
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, my Target had like 75 of them.
Yeah, mine had.
Somebody
My
should-
birthday's coming.
Yeah, somebody
Okay.
should
Yes.
send that one.
Well, Matt, I got the only one they had at the time.
Let me get back to Target and I'll pick you up one.
Okay, so
There we
okay.
go, Don. Don't
So-
worry about
Okay,
it.
okay, cool.
That's a
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. I got my third Mirage. Well, one for robot mode, and hopefully I'll get the non-F missile set whenever they do a set for this.
I don't
One
know
for
if they'll end up doing one specifically for that though, just because this is exclusives and
Well,
their numbers probably won't work out on that.
right. Well, one for car mode, one figure for car mode, one for robot mode, then one in package.
Well, at least that's not one of the short packed ones.
Right.
Yeah. That's quite
Um,
a melon patch you're growing there, though, Don.
Yeah. Well, that's my last. I mean, that, as I've said, that Mirage is like Matt's Seeker mold. I love that mold. I know it has a few issues, but it just looks so great. And in those colors, I don't mind having another one. Got Laser Cycle from Pulse. Looking forward to getting her out of the box.
The
and
one figure out of the line that's still readily available on Pulse.
yeah, yeah.
I'm getting one from Pulse tomorrow.
The figure that I wasn't sure about getting until I saw him in person, and glad I did. Sideswipe.
Oh.
Glorious.
How could you not be sure about that one?
Well, I
It's
mean, it's just if I
so
saw them,
gorgeous.
I know, but yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Love the figure, love the way it looks, and luckily,
Sideswipe's short pack too, right?
Yes.
yes,
Sideswipe
and
and dead end.
dead end. And I got lucky enough at Pulse to get two. So,
Oh,
so I can do I'm trying to do a duplicate G2 set. So I got lucky enough for that. So I got that.
Bury the anger. Bury the
Sorry, Matt. Third party wise, I got Onslaught from Magic Square. So now I have 3 of their 5 Combaticons.
Nice.
Don sure got a lot of stuff this week.
Yeah,
I
and
sure did.
yep, and the last couple
Ain't
things I
done
got.
yet.
Yeah, I don't want to be out of the blue, but I'm going to drop a Bombshell.
I wouldn't drop it. You might lose pieces.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
pieces, yes. But I have Legacy Evolution Bombshell. Very solid figure. Nothing really extravagant. It's a deluxe. It's a Insecticon. That's a deluxe. I should say, not a deluxe Insecticon.
About a
Very
third of them is shrapnel.
Yeah, but he looks good. I don't mind the people say, well, it should be this color chest or this color head. He's Bombshell. He completes the trio. He looks good.
I mean, those
He's
are
pretty
the
solid.
Those are the toy colors, more or less.
Yeah,
So
but
it
you
is
got
fairly
everyone.
accurate.
Every time we get Insecticons, it's toy colors, show colors, da 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 da. It's like it's a Bombshell. He completes the trio, and he's a solid figure. I like him. Next up is Detritus from also Legacy Evolution. It's Hound.
No, it's
no-
detritus.
No, well, it's the Hound mold, obviously.
I found somebody left out in the sun.
Yeah. He's already
The
comes
hound
pre.
from a smoker's house.
Yeah, he already comes pre-yellowed apparently. I forgot the Siege mold was a pretty solid mold. Again, nothing really new or unique. It's just he does look. You would think all them beiges would kind of blend, but the brown, the beige, the silver, and then the red it helps break it up. So it's not a bad looking figure.
How does it feel? I heard somebody say that the plastic on their copy of that felt a little gummy.
I haven't held my Hound in a while, but he does feel slight compared to the way I remember Hound like being a little more hefty, a little more chunky.
Well, it is missing a chunk of plastic compared to the Siege version. But like, does the plastic is the plastic feel as solid as like any typical current toy?
It doesn't really feel any different, but
Okay.
I'm just saying as far as the heft is what I noticed.
Yeah. So, the Siege Hound had the whole like roof rack kind of thing going on, and this doesn't with the Earth Jeep shell that they put around it. So there is a little bit less plastic in that toy.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing unexpected, nothing outstanding, but it's a nice use of the mold. And that's not a bad mold.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, the way they get
So, the faction symbols, are they on painted surfaces? Do you know? Can you tell?
It's on the back of the Jeep flap that covers the head and robot and
Is
vehicle
that
mode.
a painted surface?
I don't know if it's plastic or paint. It may be just plastic. Looking behind the head.
I hope so. I want to know if I can take those faction symbols off.
Yeah, I don't see any other colors behind the head.
Okay.
Like from an angle or so. I think that's just all base plastic.
And
The shoulder might be a problem though, because I think on the Siege copies that was always painted.
crap.
I'm not one that can tell that stuff. I don't ever really look at that. It's like, is the figure good? Yes. Does it fall apart? No. Okay, it's going on the shelf. Second to last figure I got was Strong Arm. Strong Arm is a good figure. She still has the Alita pop off the ball joint feet. That's going to be something. I think that's going to be on all the molds, really.
Yeah, it's the entire same lower body as Alita and Minerva.
Right. But she, I think, I can't remember which one of y'all said it last week, but she looks a lot better than what we saw originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I never thought it looked bad. I just thought it should be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, it looks more like her in person, but it's still, if we had our druthers, it's not quite what we were hoping to get. But it's still a nice figure, a good use of the mold. And the last figure I got, she's not in car mode, she's not in robot mode, Shadow Strike. And unfortunately, she's a great looking figure in bot mode, and she's a great looking car mode. But she inherited actually the whole wave, other than Bombshell, kind of inherited RID, speed breakers, tolerance issues. Everything is a little harder to peg together, especially on her, because her hands are under the hood. Hang on. They're supposed to peg in to two small ports in the leg. Though you see where that big hole is right there, that's the backside of the leg under the car. And then the arm has a peg that goes in the leg. But to get it lined up and compressed enough to where you can push the roof down in place is very difficult to do, and stuff wants to start popping loose.
You muted yourself.
You flipped off your switch.
Sorry. Once the feet go in, it holds together pretty solid. It's just getting the arms into those tabs. If something keeps popping the arms out, which pops the roof off. So again, it's either me doing something wrong, which is very possible because I'm old and feeble. But it's also could be some tolerances, just trying to get stuff lined up so it doesn't pull the arm out of the socket. But
it sounds like they captured the wrong part of the spirit of the original Sideburn.
Yeah, I like her a lot, and she looks great. It's just I like her more if I could peg her together a little bit easier in car mode. And that's what I got this week.
Cool. Chris.
So mine's not as impressive as Don's. I got the remaining deluxes from the G2 collection. I did get a dead end. I'm kind of sitting on that right now because I'm not sure if I want to go in on the Legacy G2 Menasor things. I'm going to hang on to that in case I decide to jump in on that later on. If not, I'm sure I can turn a nice little profit on that in a year or so. I did open up the other three, though. So I've got Bubblicious Watermelon Mirage, which I had a heck of a time trying to transform because I don't handle this mold a lot because, as I reminded myself, this is not a fun mold to transform.
No, it's awful.
Yeah, it's really kind of not good, and it doesn't even like tab together all that well. I think the best copy of it I have is actually the Leadfoot from the Wreckers collection last year. I think that one handles the best out of any of the copies I have. But like, I cannot argue in any sense with how beautiful this toy is in both modes. The color layout is just wonderful. And of course, it does have the proper G2 symbols on it. But like, I love the balance of the pink and the green. I love that in the robot mode, there's some extra silver to kind of offset that a little bit and separate out the colors. I do wish that they had used the Mirage toy head on this, like they did on Crasher. But like, I'm going to say
no
that
with no paint, as it should be.
Yeah, I'm going to say that for every version of Mirage that they release that doesn't have the toy head on it. So like, no surprise there.
We know it exists, and they've only used. Well, I guess they used it on Crasher, so they've used it twice.
Yeah, but they've only used it for a Mirage once, and that was just the Clear Siege one.
Yeah.
In the 3-pack, which I refuse to open because I'm sure I'm going to destroy it the first time I try to transform it. Yeah, I mean, at least the Earthrise remold has had the benefit of not having clear plastics on it like the Siege ones did. I mean, there's something to be said there, and everyone has been saying the that port in the middle of the robot mode's back actually has been resized just a little bit, so the 5mm peg on the rocket launcher will fit in there. I'm not sure if that on its own is going to cause a problem for the existing non-F upgrade, because that might have been made with the slightly larger peg hole in mind. I'm not actually sure how that's going to turn out. I haven't tried that because I don't remember where I put my Mirage upgrade that I ordered. So I got Sideswipe also. All these came via Pulse. I actually did see most of the assortment in my local Walmart just yesterday, but Dead End and 2 cloud covers had sold, and everything else was still there. So that was actually kind of surprising. Dead End selling didn't surprise me, but that 2 cloud covers sold before anything else did, I was not expecting. My Sideswipe has a beautiful deco, but it also has the same problem I've seen others talk about, where the back half of the car will not fold down flush. So there's that little bump past the hood of the car. It can still, sit flat on a surface and roll just fine. It doesn't really affect that. It just kind of messes up the alignment of the panel molding. I have no idea why it's doing that, and I don't know what can be done to fix that. It's an exceedingly minor problem, and from a distance, you barely notice it.
The paint,
but like,
the paint also seems a little thin on his clear plastic parts.
Not so much on my copy. Like, the color over the blue seems to be holding up just fine. As I examined it closely, there's a couple spots where it's like rubbed off a corner, but like that's not really that surprising either. I do kind of wish the clear plastic itself was a little bit more opaque. In the color they have it, it is extremely see-through, and you see all of just the robot garbage in there, which, everybody knows my feelings on clear plastic for no reason. But
yes, they're the same as mine.
Yeah, I love the deco on this. The sunset tampo on the hood and the doors came out really well. The fade from the yellow to the blue on the back end of the car is wonderful. The blue tires are certainly a choice, but I understand why that had to happen. And on something decoed like this is overall, I'm not going to begrudge that the same way I do like Crosscut's red tires. And then there is, I forgot. So this Sideswipe is, in my mind, officially Rainbow Sherbet Sideswipe. To continue with my food naming scheme. And then, of course, thanks to Matt, I have Lemon Lime Laser Cycle. This is based off of Laser Cycle Jazz, which was an unreleased recolor. I'm going to call this one Sprite, though, because of the Lemon Lime theming. And boy, this sure is the Legacy Prime RC mold, which is another one that I forgot what an adventure it was to transform. I did eventually get it successfully into the motorcycle mode, and it's fine once it's there. Doing the process is not that fun. Setting up the robot mode for the first time, taking out the package, is also not that fun because there's a lot of stuff competing for the same space on the backpack. You can take all of that stuff off, but that's kind of cheating. And I don't like having to do that, so it's a bit of a cluttery mess. The overall, like, parts fit and everything on this is quite good. It's at least as good as the Road Rocket from Velocitron last year. So I'm, doing pretty well in terms of getting good tolerance copies of this RC mold, as I buy it in everything except RC. I probably will end up with the Alita, the Aerial, and at some point, Flame War is going to go on sale, and I'm going to get one of those too. I don't like this mold, but I'm sure going to have a lot of them eventually. But yeah, I like the deco on this. I kind of wish there had been 2 assortments in this collection so that this could have been sold correctly as Jazz. But I also don't mind having the opportunity to just like headcanon this as another new character because I like new characters. And then I have not opened it yet to check it, but when I was at Walmart yesterday, they did actually have a Studio Series Battle Trap on the shelf. So I went ahead and picked that up to replace my defective one from a few weeks ago. And once I check that over, I will cancel my back-ordered Amazon one. So hopefully that all turns out for the best, but that is what I got this week.
Cool. Rob, what'd you get?
Okay. Got a big stack of ham sandwiches here. Okay, so first off, the first theme of what I got this week is Rob should not be left alone with Amazon access at 4 a.m. I watched the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian finally. It is excellent. And my brother had thrown a couple of his duplicate Black Series figures at me. So they had same day shipping on the 112 scale Bandai Mandalorian model kit. So I got that in Boba Fett. I'm about halfway through building it. It's a nice little thing. I'm glad I have that chrome paint marker that Hey Mickey gave me because I am not putting all those little gray stickers on all the cartridges on his belt. For the record, I did build the Shin Kamen Rider kit I got the other week. There are 31 stickers to put on that belt, and somehow I got them all on.
Wow.
Let's see. Yeah, I got those. The other theme is 1/18 scale figures. I got a lot of 4-inch scale action figures this week somehow. But first off, I got Shoto versus Wave 4 because I am still on my rider kick. And yeah, I did that for you, Don. That was for you specifically. And that has like a bunch of the the 70s Kamen Riders, like Riders 1 and 2, a couple of the villain Shocker Riders, Kamen Rider Amazon, and Kamen Rider Black RX, perhaps better known as Saban's Masked Rider. Mm-hmm. So that was a pretty good wave for whatever it is I paid for it.
I wouldn't say better known, maybe more infamously known.
Yeah. Known to more English speaking people, I would say most likely. But the other thing I got was I wound up with a stack of Gundam Military Generation figures, which are, again, like 4-inch G.I. Joe scale, very articulated, come with a lot of accessories. I got the Char Astable for like $50 like a year ago, and I wanted to get more, but they were really expensive.
And still are.
But they've started to come down. I managed to get the 2 generic Xeon pilots from the Charwave for $50 combined off of Amazon.
Damn, that's good.
And also from USA Gundam Store, I was able to get the Federation pilot wave, which has Sail and Mass and 2 generic Federation pilots and the parts to combine into a Federation core fighter cockpit for a combined $100 instead of the $250 they were originally marked.
Damn.
So I haven't put that together yet. That just got here. And lastly, I cannot forget, shout out to Blade Raider, who supplied me with a spare Shoto Kamen Rider V3, so I can hopefully fix the broken antenna on mine. And did that for the price of shipping. It got here today, Blade. I am really grateful, and thank you so much. And that is my bag of ham for this week.
Cool. Matt, what'd you get?
Okay, so I also got G2 Grimlock from the Toxitron collection, and he is absolutely magnificent. The colors just are so random, like the bright yellow, and then he's got like a metallic aquamarine chest and purple underpants, and just it all sounds absolutely awful, but when you put it together, it is gorgeous, and I absolutely love it. I also haven't messed with this toy a whole lot. When I got the Studio Series ones, I just kind of put them in dinosaur mode and set them aside. But I've messed with this one a little bit, and it reminded me just how good of a toy this really is. And I also picked up Toxitron from the Toxitron collection. So I had Laser Prime, the original version of the mold, and like it's a fine toy. It just kind of left me kind of meh on the whole thing. But Toxitron in hand just shows what a difference a deco can make to a toy. It is so good. I absolutely love it. I actually passed on the Nemesis Prime version of it because like just that's what the mold meant to me. But Toxitron is a game changer. He is great. So I have this whole collection now. I also got in the mail today from Pulse, I got the Magneto roleplay helmet from Marvel Legends because Magneto was right.
Does it block psychic powers?
I think the plastic's a little too thin for that. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is so pretty, but it is a little. Now I'm putting some pressure on that. Like it's not floppy or anything like that, but you can like bend it out of shape with your hands if you want. It is fairly thin all the way around, but it does fit my gigantic head.
Hey Matt, was that based off the animated
great.
series or the comic?
This has the X-Men 97 logo on it, so it's to coincide with the upcoming Disney Plus relaunch of the 90s cartoon, which really should have been Wolverine and the X-Men instead. And I also got a set of French doors for my porch, so that was really freaking expensive. But that's all I got this week.
Cool. Let's see here. I got Toe Line. I got the Grimlock. I got Cloud Cover. And my 7th or 8th. It's not really my 7th or 8th. I've had 7 or 8. X9 Ravage, Metals Ravage.
Ooh.
So this is only the second one that I have right now, but I got this for a very specific purpose. So but I got it off Mandarake. It didn't have the paperwork, but I had the spare paperwork from my original one that I bought in the 90s that I had still held on to for some dumb reason when I sold it years ago. So now this one is complete. So
Cool.
yeah. And that's all I got this week. But you can get something at tfradio.net/Amazon. It's pretty awesome. You can buy whatever, and Amazon will just ship it to you. The future is awesome. tfradio.net/Amazon. Also, I want to thank our patrons at patreon.com/tfradio. If you want to join the other RSC superfans, be a patron, just go to patreon.com/tfradio. Patrons of Radio Free Cybertron get an ad-free version of the show. You get it a day early, higher bit rate, a weekly Patreon exclusive pre-show podcast, unedited episodes of RSC if we have edits. You get History on the 5 a week early, and that's like all patrons. So patrons at the touch tier get to be on Hot 5 with Rob and get to be mentioned on the show each week and listed at tfradio.net/credits. So we are going to send shout outs to all of our touched peeps. Kevin Dorsey, AJ, Eric Griffin, Tyrell Gwynn, Rick Mahurin, Ryan Bona, Emmett Stresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, Joey Russell, and I was told that tomorrow is Joey's birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Sean Williamson, Spider Bob, Jay Klein Rye, Sean Hamilton. It was Sean that told me. Jacob Owen Lucia, Sean Bratton, Jason Hiley, TJ Petrucci, Hyper Shouta, and Brock Brand. Thank you all so much. You are awesome. And again, if you want to sign up, it's the beginning of the month. It's the perfect time to do it. Patreon.com/TFRadio. You can find all of our stuff at tfradio.net. We just posted last week a new episode of RPG Lessons Learned that can be reached there. I think I have a new one I need to post today that I'm late on, also at tfradio.net. We're on Twitter at tfradio, Facebook at facebook.com/tfradio. If you want to watch a live stream on this that we do each week, where you can actually see what we're talking about, you can do that at YouTube. But for the most part, we're an audio podcast, so it doesn't really matter if you can see us or not. Sometimes it's best if you can't. You can find me personally at briankilby.com, at Brian Kilby on Threads and Instagram, and at bkilby on Twitter. Diecast, how do people get a hold of you?
They can hold me on Twitter at Diecast2. They can see my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast and see my reviews at tfradio.net/reviews.
Cool. Donald.
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC4 EVR.
Cool. Chris.
My work on the internet is at playwithphotography.com. You can find me personally in our Discord at tfradio.net/discord. You can also follow me on social media at ChrisRTXV on Mastodon.social, on Blue Sky if you have access to that at this point, or on co-host if you have any idea what that is, which I don't imagine a lot of people do because I don't see hardly any activity over there. I have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist if you want to just do some nice things for me materially.
Cool. Rob.
Okay. I am still on Twitter at Rob Flails and will be until, TweetDeck becomes inoperable and the prophecy is fulfilled.
Mhm.
So that is the Twitter primarily for my YouTube channel Flail Throughs. Gundam Battle Operation 2 is my primary focus. It is celebrating its 5th anniversary. The High New Gundam was added last week. This week is the Nightingale. We do not have to ask why the Nightingale's shoulders hurt. We know. And if you want to see what's in every week's update, Thursday mornings on youtube.com/flailthroughs, I have a video to explain as much as I know. If you like what I'm doing over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs. You can request specific mobile suits and weapon loadouts and color schemes and what have you. And tfradio.net/playlist. You can send me stuff and a little bit of money will go back to help the show.
Cool. Sweet. I guess that's it. We will see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, all.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.
Okay. Diecast disappeared.
Good night, guys.
Yeah.
Good night.
I'm
Hey,
gonna
gotta
go.
go.
Oh, hey, Matt, did you
Keep
not want
watching
to do your...
live. Bye.
What's up?
I was trying to ask Diecast about what he got that he didn't talk about yet.
What do you mean?
He got that ramen toy Thunder mask set up.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, but I was going to ask him about it.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. I'm sleepy. Okay.